This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jumbo, hello everybody. A very warm welcome to our afternoon safari. We are in the Masai Mara of Kenya, a beautiful herd of elephants. My name is David. Welcome aboard to your very own safari, live from the African bush. I'm sure you all know my favorite animals are what you have on your screen, and these are the African elephants. Because an elephant will keep you busy for like a whole day without giving you any flat moment. Well, to all of you, one more time, is a very warm welcome to our safari this afternoon. We shall be coming to you from different locations of Africa, and currently I am in the Masai Mara of Kenya. My name is David, and on camera this afternoon is Bungei. And both of us are here for a mission because we are looking for Jasiri. We haven't seen her as yet, but I'm sure for those of you who are not with us this morning, we named the elephant that was injured Jasiri. And I've come to the same area where I left her early morning as you go back to our elephants there to find out exactly how she is doing. Remember, we love to hear from you, be it questions or comments, and you can always do that by tweeting to us, #WildEarth, and you'll have a lot of joy to answer your questions or acknowledge your comments. A rather warm afternoon here in the Mara, 27 degrees Celsius or 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the herd of elephants you see there are heading towards the marsh. In this particular area is one place they know they are guaranteed of very large food and lots of water to drink. Linda, that's a great comment to start this afternoon. And you're saying a day without elephants is a day without sunshine. I agree with you perfectly, Linda, and I hope you're doing well. And I believe you also love elephants, and we got all of them here. Big cows, young cows, calves. We got small little birds there, egrets, hadada ibis. It's full of life here. So as I said earlier, my plans will be to look for Jasiri, and I'll be talking more about Jasiri much later.
Good afternoon, and welcome to a very hot and sunny day or afternoon at andBeyond Ngala. We've got 2 elephant bulls in the waterhole, just playing around. We're hoping that they want to go for a swim. My name is Marna, and with me behind the camera is Gert. So earlier we were saying it's so hot, it would be nice to have a swim or something cool to drink. So we thought maybe the animals would want to do the same thing. And look at this. When we got here, they were both drinking, and it looks like the one's venturing further into the water, which is quite nice. And there are a few other things around the waterhole as well. At the moment, we can't see it, but there is a battalier eagle that's perched on the side of the or on the edge of the waterhole, just behind the one on the left. And then further on in the distance, there are some wildebeests feeding as well. But we'll see, once that elephant moves, we might be able to see the buffalo. I'm actually quite jealous that he's heading into the water there. So as I mentioned, 2 big bulls. And there are some hippos in the water here, but they're not too fussed. They'll stay out of the way of the elephants if they go for a swim. This is usually quite entertaining to watch, so let's see what they get up to. Looks like he's just blowing bubbles there. We did watch him defecate in the water just before he went in.
We are sitting with a lovely group of elephant bulls that had recently come down to the dam at our camp and are now dusting themselves and feeding and standing in the shade of these 2 beautiful boerbean trees. As you can see, dusting themselves. They've moved behind the bushes now, so it's not so easy to see them. They are there, I promise. Hi, I'm Mike, and behind the camera is Odie, and you've joined us here at Eco Training's Pridelands Conservancy. And it's a nice hot afternoon, very hot afternoon. So I think that the elephants are... Oh, there's another elephant coming in just behind us over there. Hello. So as you can see, all these bull elephants were just here... at the waterhole, and now they're all gently moving their way along this drainage line, which is nice and fairly green. There's a little bit of food here. Along with this group of elephant bulls is also Kumo, our well-known elephant bull who's very large. There he is over there. He's much larger than all the other elephants in this particular group. He's probably the one that they all follow and learn learn all their habits from. And he's a very calm elephant, so that's very nice to see. They're learning from a good mentor. It's a very hot afternoon, though. I'm surprised to see them all out in the open like this, though I don't know why they're not following the example of the other few that are in the shade here. That's what I would be doing if I was an elephant. But you can see when you're an elephant, you need to feed quite a lot, so constantly picking off whatever greenery they can find as they move through this drainage line. I'm sure they'll go to the waterhole again a bit later.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to andBeyond Phinda. And we have found 2 cheetah lying in some shade out in the open grasslands. My name is Grant, and behind the camera this afternoon is Craig. And this afternoon we've come out looking for some cheetah, and we've already managed to find them, so it's pretty exciting. Cheetah that we have found are brand new to Phinda. If you look carefully on that one that's in the screen now, you'll see around her neck she's got a collar on, and that is the young, as I say. And they found some beautiful shade here. It is really, really hot, about 30 degrees on Phinda at the moment, but we've got quite a strong wind blowing this afternoon, so the shade has been treating them well during the day today. They haven't moved really far from where they were seen this morning, and they're lying. Well, there's another one just in the shade on a termite mound that Craig's going to show you now. He's just a little bit obstructed by some bushes, but yeah, there's the young male, also new to Phinda, and yeah, if you look carefully at them. If Craig goes back to the female, you might see on her neck, on the back of her neck, and on her shoulders, she's still got some long tufts of fur, which indicates to us that she is quite young. and they are around about 1.5 years, 18 months to 2 years old. So that fur is still on its way out, and it will fall out as they get older. But it's just one of the ways that we can estimate a cheetah's age. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these two, because it's unusual. It's unusual for them to stick together for so long. So shortly, well, fairly soon, they will start to head in opposite directions. I agree with everyone's comments saying that they are so beautiful. They are in perfect condition. The young male just has a couple scratches on his nose, possibly from feeding and competing with his sister. But yeah, we're going to sit here in the shade and see if these cheetah get up to anything.
Welcome back. So earlier I mentioned the Battalier eagle that was sitting off to the side. It was just behind the elephants from the angle we had previously, but now you can actually see it on the left hand side of the screen there. So as we zoom in, those of you that know what a Battalier eagle looks like will know that it's usually black and white in color with like a beautiful red and yellow on the bill and red talons. Sitting in the shade now, so it's pretty hard to make out the colors, but this Battalier is completely brown, and then on the bill and around the eye it's almost like it's grayish blue. So it's still a young Battalier. So they'll have to go through 4 molts before they get their adult plumage, which takes about 6 or 7 years. Sharanya. In this waterhole, we do not have any crocodiles, but if there were crocodiles would go for just about anything. And, you know, there's no way they'd be able to catch an elephant, not one of this size at least. But, you know, they might potentially go for a trunk that they're reaching into the water, and they could probably snap off a piece of that trunk, which would be detrimental, seeing as that's quite an important tool for an elephant. But yeah, crocodiles will go for pretty much anything that moves along the edge of the water. But as far as I know, I've never, you know, there are no crocodiles here. I've never seen any crocodiles in this waterhole. But, you know, in this area, you never know. It's never safe walking right next to the water because the crocodiles move as well, so you could be surprised. There's the Battalier again. There's actually a nest close by, so it might be their last youngster. Oh, these elephants are having fun. I think we'll sit here for a little while longer. We actually spotted some giraffes in the distance coming down as well, so I'm hoping they come for a drink with the elephants and the Battalier.
You never know what crocodiles will go for, but I would also doubt they would go for elephants. I think elephants would be too big for them. And now I got very good news for all of you, because after I saw that huge herd of elephants when I was starting the show, I got my binoculars out, started scanning, and saw so many baby elephants. And my eyes stuck on this one because she was quite motionless for quite some time. And this is Jasiri. I was with her this morning. She looked to be in good spirit, feeding, drinking. And now she has moved 6 kilometers from where I saw her. And I think 6 kilometers is a good walk for an elephant of that size with an injured foot. I'm very impressed. by her progress. And I'm sure you're all very happy to see this particular calf, because for those of us who are not with me this morning, we thought we need to name this baby calf, give her name. The very first time I saw her, she was in an open area similar to where we are, and she was so determined to walk. And you can see the right leg wasn't in good shape, so she was walking on 3. And this one was just, in the air like this. And I watched her and I was so touched. But what she was trying to do is to get out of an open area like this and get some cover and some thickets. And to me, I thought she was very determined. And this morning, I asked, did a Twitter poll, to ask you whether we would give her a very local name, a Kiswahili name. And I came up with two names. One was Imani, which means faith, and the other one is Jasiri, which means courage or being courageous. And I think the poll was 68%. People thought, because of her courage, we call her Jasiri. And that's how we have ended up with calling this beautiful calf here Jasiri. And she has picked up some friends who are staying with her. And we're going to show you the friends. And the 3 of them, there's one big cow. And I think she also got 2 calves. And they have stayed very close together. But the very first time I saw her, she was all on her own. And seeing her determined to walk to the bushes to get away, or she didn't want to expose herself to predators, was very special. Now, that cow there, with the calf behind her, and another one, have made very good friends with Jasiri. That's the other one I'm talking about. So the 4 of them have remained together since yesterday. I'll watch them for a few more minutes before I move on.
So the elephants now have been joined. 3 elephants that were in the shade have been joined by Kumo. He's that elephant on the right there, the one that the researchers had been following, whose collar had fallen off, which Taylor had actually managed to recover. I think it was Taylor and Gert at the time. They recovered the collar for the researchers so that they could gather whatever data was left on it, if there was any. I'm not really sure how these things work. And anyway, he's joined them here, and they all seem to be having a bit of a schmooze. If you see that one elephant at the back there, the first one in that row, it's quite a nice picture. They're all sort of resting with their trunks extended right down onto the ground, almost like they've relaxed all their muscles. It's quite a typical thing you see when elephants want to have a bit of a snooze, that they'll just let their trunks rest right down there, sometimes even draping them over their tusks if their tusks are long enough. But definitely taking this time to just rest and relax. And there's a bit of a breeze picking up now. You can see the branches moving. Rosalind, are you asking how many bones are in an elephant's trunk? Well, Rosalind, that's quite interesting. There are no bones at all in the trunk of an elephant. It's completely muscles. So the last bone that you can see is the tusk that's right there. And that's sort of it's an enameled tooth. And then there's the jaw and the nose that sort of stops, all the bones around the nasal cavity that stop right at its forehead. And the whole length of the trunk is all just muscle fibers, circular fibers and long fibers that go right down the length of the tusk. I think I read an estimate something like 50,000 individual muscles. That's more muscles in our entire body. That's pretty incredible that they learn to manipulate it. No wonder you watch baby elephants playing, spinning their trunk around and not being able to use it very effectively. It must take quite a while. I mean, think about human babies. How long does it take them to figure out the use of their hands and legs and, just lift up their heads and that kind of stuff? So, pretty amazing. Well, these elephants are all probably either in their early 20s. The one on the right, the very big one, he's much older, so he's probably in his 40s by now. He knows well what he's doing.
Good afternoon from an extremely hot Djuma Game Reserve. Thank goodness for the breeze, otherwise it may be far too sticky at 29 degrees Celsius and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot, but my name is Lauren, I have Leo on camera, and we've just been watching this hammercock. It's incredible to see what he's doing. So he's made his way around the entire pan. Oh, he just caught something. But occasionally he'll stop. He'll use his leg to shake up this, stir up the sediment below him. And anything that pops out, be it aquatic insects, be it crustaceans, all sorts of delicious things that live under the water, he snatches up with his beak. It's wonderful. A true aquatic bird. Knows that this is shallow enough. Knows that he can walk through. See? You see that? He's stirring up the sediment. There'll be lots of things living in the water, believe it or not. Although it looks really stagnant to us, it will contain a lot of life. It's filled with algae for that reason. It's stagnant. There's no influx and there's no outflow. Oh, wow. Frogs, tadpoles, fish, insects, they eat everything from the water. But because summer has not yet fully started, that's why he's doing the leg shaking technique. Yeah, many of you are commenting on the intelligence of the bird. Absolutely. Theo and I were also just talking about that. It knows to stir up the hard sediment below. Walking on it is not enough. Give it a good shake, and all sorts of delicious delicacies will appear. I really love these birds. I think his technique is successful. Every so often we'll see him catch something. I'm not entirely sure what it is, though. It could be fish. There absolutely could be fish inside here. Not your large catfish or your tilapias, but there could be small fish in here. Now this pan dries up completely, but the eggs can get transported normally by birds, and they will emerge once the waters come. How fascinating. We're going to sit and enjoy watching this smart little bird.
So these two elephant bulls are both finally in the water. And you can see they're just having fun. Yes, you can see the one's foot there on the left. Completely submerging themselves. Look at that. And just before they walked into the water, that batelier was actually still on the edge of the water. And the larger of the two elephants approached the batelier, and he put his trunk out and he actually sprayed a little bit of water onto the batelier, and the batelier stood his ground. He didn't even fly away. He's actually still sitting there. What a brave little bird. Just the tusks sticking out of the water there. And these two elephant bulls, we've been watching them now. A lot of the times you'll see the elephant bulls sussing each other out and doing this, play fighting, I would say, just to test each other's strength. But these two have actually been acting quite lovingly, touching each other with their trunks, on their ears and on their tusks, and yeah, it's been quite beautiful to watch. You can see the one that's in front now is slightly smaller than the one in the back. Logic stuff? They can. We're seeing them swim now. Where they are now, it's not that deep. You can see the one in the back, well, both of them are actually standing. But I have seen them swimming in a dam that was really deep and where they couldn't stand. And then you would just see them swimming. You would see the trunks come up just to take a breath, and they'd keep swimming. It's It's actually really amazing to watch. And they really love the water, you can imagine, especially on a hot day like today. It's 30 degrees Celsius out. This is the perfect place for them to be. Cool themselves down. They are having so much fun there. They must feel so free, you know, they're so heavy, such big animals, and now they're just lying on their sides and floating in the water. It must be so much fun. Especially because the larger elephants don't lie down that often. They do lie down, but I think, like I said, this is quite a freeing experience for them, I would imagine.
A very good afternoon, our dear viewers. It is a beautiful afternoon once again here in the MARNA Triangle. And right here, we just found very sleepy hyenas. The sun is in turns, and I think they'll be spending this better part of the afternoon waiting for the sun to go down. You know, these are nocturnal predators, and you can see one of them is panting a lot. This is due to the very intense sun, and once the sun goes down, then obviously it is a time for them to come up and take over the night shift. Right now, they don't seem to be actively involved in doing anything, but one thing you notice, these hyenas are not full asleep. They are I'll say they are sleeping a bit, and once in a while flies are bothering them. So this helps them to keep the ears off. Yeah, they look fluffy, especially that youngster. Looks like they've been having a muddy shower maybe some hours ago, and see, this is what makes them look fluffy. There's actually a lot of mud on this one, like the side of it. You know, hyenas love playing in water just to keep themselves cold. So hyenas live in clans and in a particular community. All right, we don't really have to spend a lot of time with these sleepy hyenas, but we just leave them and we carry on with our drive.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. We are still sitting with these two cheetah, and look what's happened. The male has come out from the bush, and he flopped down on top of his sister to join her in the shade there. If you look at the male, he's actually panting a little bit more, and Craig and I were actually just discussing his tummy looks a little bit more full than his sister, so maybe he's already starting to, well, he would have already from a young age been out competing his sister at mealtime, and that slightly faster breath or breathing is just aiding his digestion a little bit. But also cheetah are known to gorge themselves, so he would have eaten as much as he can instinctually, because he doesn't, his mindset is that he doesn't know when his next meal will be, and so he will make the most of the current opportunity. So with the meal that they had, he would have eaten as much as he can, and so that his tummy is so full, it's actually taking up a bit of the space that his lungs would usually expand into. And these cheetah went through quite an ordeal last night. They came across a female leopard, which I'll get back to you about. But Chevy is just asking how closely these cheetah are monitored. So these two are currently with the collars on for the next 6 weeks. Our habitat team is going to monitor them for a minimum of 4 hours every single day. So they will use those collars to help them find or narrow down more or less where these cheetah are, and then they will go and sit with them, usually in the hours where the cheetah will be slightly more active, just to see how they're getting along. And during the heat of the day, they won't be very active. They'll be doing what they're doing right now, just sleeping and resting. And so, yeah, they will be monitored quite closely for the next few days. More especially because now they're on Phinda, where there's lots of dangerous animals that could potentially hurt them, and they could get injured while they're hunting. And just last night, their first night on Phinda, they had a bit of an interaction with a female leopard, and the leopard ended up chasing these two cheetah. But luckily the cheetah saw the leopard in time, and they were able to run away. And so situations like that are what we are going to be watching for. Things like hyenas, lions will all try to kill cheetah to try to eliminate. Lions more to eliminate the competition, but hyenas will actually kill a cheetah and eat it if they can. But that is very, very rare.
Yo. Jumbo, welcome. Yes, we have the male Maasai ostrich, or the common ostrich, if you want to call it, is what is called over here. Welcome this afternoon. My name is Isaac, and on camera I have Big James. We are already here at the bottom of the marsh, and we have found one of our largest African birds. As you can see, that is a male ostrich over there. And he is in full, mating plumage. Means that, he's speaking to the girls without using any words. Usually they are grayish in color, but when they come into season, they get very pink, almost red. Here are the females. It's also the Maasai ostrich. They're usually gray in color and very, very busy eating away that grass. There are 3 of them. They're spread out within that area. It's a lovely afternoon here at the marsh. We're very close to the Mara River, and these girls are wandering, following the male. Usually, when he's ready to mate, he's got this elaborate dance that he does, where he shakes his wings from one side to the other, and sometimes going down on his knees while shaking his head also from side to side. And if the females are impressed, they usually, come towards him and present themselves to him. He's very busy at the moment. I think he's filling up much needed energy when he comes to mating. This is their typical color, black, white, and pink when they are mating. Look at that. Yeah, they have amazing eyesight, so you can see quite far. See, those females are very excited about that color. You see that? Yeah, he's talking to them without using any words. Yes, that color really excites the female, and they will open their wings like that, and sometimes actually, yeah, look at that. That's what they do. They open their wings, and sometimes it's very hilarious because they run at top speeds and then turn around at very sharp angles. It's actually very, very funny. You should look it up. I hope we can get to show you someday, or maybe today, you never know, because it's very, very interesting, funny, and also fun to watch them do that. Yeah, very busy. What happens here is once a female is ready, and he's very impressed with the male. After the dance, they mate, and after mating, females will start laying eggs. Usually, one female finds an appropriate spot on the ground where she lays an egg, and all other females will follow suit. Yes, and everybody else lays the eggs in the same spot. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do much, but he seems to be very busy. Maybe we should take you to our other different location while I wait and see what's happening here.
Beautiful. Ostrich is always the best thing. First bird, beautiful bird. And it's always this very good time of a day like this. We're back in here. Just want to welcome everyone back in Sabi Djuma Game Reserve. And I'm Andrew on camera, that's BK. So it's quite of a gift. I mean, start to drive and we kind of attract the leopard, which we find right there lying down. It's a leopard that I haven't really identified yet, whether it's our princess, Talamba, or, we're on Triple M, which is the western boundary of Djuma and the western part. And pick up the track. That's how we follow her from there. And of course, the track looked for us very fresh for us to keep on followed. And it's amazing, the bird that's still alarming calling. Oh, Shidolu. That's, thank you very much. I wasn't really sure. Thanks, the viewers, for the heads up. Much appreciated. Shidolu. That makes sense. See how she walk. I don't know. It looks like she's walking towards our vehicle. Look at this. Hey, isn't that amazing? I mean, it's for a leopard to do that. Just gonna reposition. So there's 3 vehicles in this location, and we're just gonna see how she reacts. I believe everyone didn't have an opportunity to see a leopard either yesterday or today, this morning. It looks like everyone was interested once we found this cat, and we'll follow her, stick around with her. If it happens, we'll keep the sighting.
So shortly after those 2 bull elephants left, a very thirsty breeding herd appeared behind us, and they came in hot. The youngsters ran into the water, immediately starting to drink and throwing and spraying water onto themselves. Now, I want to see what's going to happen with this battalier. The herd is heading straight towards him, and like I mentioned earlier, he was being quite brave with those 2 bulls. Let's see what he does when this herd passes him. You can see him right on the edge of the water there, just to the right of the elephant in front now. Let's see. Surely he's gonna fly. He's just staring at them. No way. Okay. He's not going too far though. He's just sitting in the tree. Now I can actually see the coloration on him and see how he's still brown, so still quite a young battalier. He seems to really like that spot. But I wouldn't want to sit there. There are quite a few elephants moving through now. That was a quick drink. But nice to see the different sizes. The biggest one you can see there, that's kind of in the back there, that's a large bull. And then all the other larger ones are cows. But nice to see the difference between a big bull and a big cow. The males are much larger. All the tiny little ones in between. Oh, there we go, getting another quick drink. But they seem to be in a hurry. Who knows where they're going?
Here we still have a beautiful leopard. Again, since she had moved, and I don't know, it's kind of like this kind of a hunting situation she's doing. Of course, seeing leopard hunting is, her heat is not surprising. Where the temperature for today is anything from 29 degrees and 85 Fahrenheit, which is sometimes the clouds cover it up, sometimes opened. So I'm gonna reposition, just to get a visual, so we don't lose a visual. So easy for the leopard to disappear because they're very sneaky. Tall grasses and thank you. Yeah, I will have a look at that. Also, I thought when she was moving, and looks like her belly's still hanging down, which just gonna take another look. If it's possible, we can see her teeth or her belly. So for now, we're gonna just look through that brushes because she's just stationary in there, probably focusing on whatever she heard. There she moves now. Just stop. She has a lot of chance to listen around because we also stopped and the wind died down a little bit. So she will be able to use her own experience as normal. Of course, when they hunt, they use sense of smell, sight, hearing, both. It happens if it's ever an impala around there where she will pick up where they have been by smelling around, and then she will be able to tell which antelope was it. If it's impala, then she will be looking to hunt on impala. If it's a steenbok also, she will look to hunt on a steenbok. So we'll reposition again, so probably we'll get another look.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a beautiful day here at Tswalu Kalahari. We have been very lucky to find these little guys again. Still at the same den site, different spot though. My name is Moritz, by the way, and behind the camera we've got David. This was our plan from the beginning, to come back to see if these little guys are still here. We wanted to get here earlier to see if they, you never know when mom's going to move them. So should we get here and we see, okay, mom has moved them, it's quite a process of tracking them and seeing where they went before we get to see them again. So we wanted to just come here and make sure that they are still here. And as you can see, very, very cute. You can only see the one at the moment. I saw a second one a little earlier, just moving a bit behind the brush there on the right-hand side of the screen. But I'm pretty sure all three of them will still be doing well. What we are going to do, though, is we are going to, now that we know they're here, allow it to cool down a little bit. So maybe go on a little bit of a drive, see if we can find maybe mom. She's not with them again, so she might have gone out hunting again, something like that, gone to the waterhole or so. So we'll go and see if we can maybe pick up on her, see how she's doing. And then when it's cooled down and they want to start moving and not look like they are looking currently, which is quite flat, then we'll come back and see if we can get them a little nicer for you guys.
Welcome back, guys. Look, what we just came across. A really beautiful banded mongoose, and it's a gang of them. It's called a gang of mongoose. Look how cute they are. They are on top of a tapant mound, which is typical for them to give them that good vantage point, just in case there is a threat, like a jackal, a lion, a leopard. They are called the banded mongoose, and they are good, maybe 20 strong. These are very good to have around because they get rid of all the creepy crawlies that you don't need. Over here, there are things that cannot be preyed on by big predators, so they actually utilize them like dung beetles, grasshoppers, spiders, frogs, and even snakes. Even to bird eggs they do eat, and they call a gang of mongoose. Look at how they're resting. It's a belly flop. They're just resting. They just arrived into the termite mound. I think it's nice and warm, and they've been walking in wet grass, so now it's nice to to just rest there. Yes, they are really, really cute. Thank you for enjoying this because it's one of a kind sighting. They're always scurrying off and running in tall grass, so you never get to see a good glimpse of them, a good sight of them. But here, they're just doing their own thing. Look at this guy. He's really getting rid of those mites and insects in his body. These guys are carnivores, they have teeth to crush small, insects. And they go in groups of up to 40. Over here in the Mara, I've seen a good 30. It's very common. Look, how many are they there now? 5. Yes, there is more around. I think they're taking turns to sun. Yeah, this is really, really cute. Yeah. Very cute. When you see them resting like this, it means there's no threat around, and all they can do right now is just have a good rest. Jen, did you ask about them liking short or tall grass? I would say they prefer more tall grass because they can hide and they cannot be easily detected. It's easier to hide, and also there is more food in tall grass. And over here we don't have areas with very short grass, so they have no choice but to live in long grass. They usually have more than one den, maybe up to 3 within an area of maybe 500 square meters, where in case of danger they can always scurry really, really quickly, and go underneath. The burrow usually has got multiple tunnels or entrances, so in case of threat coming into the burrow, they can always go out the other. And in case of a flooding, and they are youngsters, puppies, they can get away, through another tunnel. So it's well thought, after. And usually they utilize old advac holes that have been used by warthogs, porcupines, civets. They utilize them. Also, sometimes you find them living even with monitor lizards in the same hole. So they actually tolerate other mammals or reptiles. Yeah, here they are fast asleep. It's a pity you can't see their faces to see the expression in their faces, but you can tell they are really, really like resting. Yeah, they are really enjoying this, and I think this is where they're gonna reside for the night. So I'm gonna leave them and move to a different location. Yeah, so catch you later.
Beautiful. We're still following our beautiful female. Dulu here. She's moving right to see how beautiful she is. The sun shining right at her. And this is how we're trying to follow her. But we also give a lot of chance. Every time she stops, we stop so that she can able to do her thing. So, again, don't mind the noise. It's the game viewer here that is here, and there will be a lot of noise sometimes, but they will come and go. So, let's keep. Marty, the question, want to know whether they the leopards get used to the vehicle driving around them? Yes, they do. And that's how they grow up from younger, especially leopards, lions. We always make sure they get used to the vehicle since very young age, so that when they come independent, they don't get threatened by a car or anything. But we pay also a lot of respect to this animal because, for example, now she's mobile, so it's a natural thing. She do her thing. So we respect that every time she stops, we stop. Because, of course, we want to see her, but she is on move. She's busy on her own business. So this is what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to disturb that animal. So, of course, they get used to the car, all of them. Especially in sands and most of the surrounding game reserves. Most cats, they're well known of, getting close to the car and feel comfortable with the company a lot of time. So I'm going to get another look again, and it's getting this bush is getting very thick. But we'll try our best to stick with her, If it happens that we have to move out.
Andrew, very well done to catch up with that gal. I don't know whether Shidulu may take over from Tandy one day, but we'll see how things will go. We've got two giraffes here, and the one thing that amazes me about giraffes, as you all know, is their height. I've been wondering whether it's a male and a female from their pose or from their body language. And I'm thinking there could be some love in the air here. And I'm so convinced that they might mate. I think you're right, Cassie. And it's always very special to see animals here mating. There's a lot of love there. And you can see the male is sniffing the female and finding out maybe if she's an estrus. Sometimes they do what's called grimacing. And before they get into mating, definitely he is always very sure that yes, she's an estrus. And of course, she's going to conceive if they mate. But going back to my earlier topic, look at the height of that male against the banana tree there, the shepherd tree. Tall animals. I'm not sure who's going to decide here. Unlike lions, we have seen lionesses, once the female is ready, the male will always mount and the mate. But here, I think the male has to initiate it. A little bit patient and watching what happens. I think it's a very difficult angle for giraffes to mate, as it's also equally difficult to carry a baby for over 14 months, over 1 year. And it's even tricky how they give birth while standing in general and dropping a baby from 6-7 feet. I think the preparation of the reproduction of giraffes starts very early from mating. They face so many challenges. Looking at the weight of that male compared to the female, he looks massive. Not sure why it's taking so long for them to mate. They're just the two of them where they are. Haven't seen any other members of the herd here. And I can tell you, I agree with all of you. Not many people have seen giraffes mating, and I have seen a number of times. And the only animals I would say that are rather difficult for me to see mating are the rhinos, and more so the black rhinos, not the white rhinos. White rhinos I've seen many times. Black rhinos are difficult. But yes, I agree. Even for the guides out here, not many have seen giraffes mating. But one thing is certain, either we are never lucky to see them mating, because ideally when they mate, they'll be in open areas, not in thickets. Because you'd imagine being in forests or places with lots of trees with your huts, and because of their height, well, I'll just wait here. I'm not rush because I haven't seen giraffes mating in quite some time, and I'll see the love in the air, how it will unfold.
It's beautiful, nice giraffe mating now. Should be a really good things to see. So tall animal. But here we're looking at this beautiful leopard that we just caught this afternoon, and we're not sure what she's seen in that. She's probably got a scent of probably maybe antelope, and she just stand there, look. She's again gonna Chelsea want to know if the leopard does hunt during the day. Indeed, yes, they do. And it's all about the energy when they do that. But of course, it's too much light. They may lost a lot of energy doing that because they come visible easily than at night, as it's too much light. But they do hunt also during, that's like what is happening right now. So she's probably hungry, trying to get whatever she may try to get, whether it's a lizard. Remember, for them to be able to survive, it's not about bigger antelope. They would go for a lizard, this monitor lizard. I've seen leopard kill even python, these guinea fowls, birds, these mongoose. They're all in the menu during the day when they're on hunt, so they're just to get an energy and get going until they get, enough of energy to carry on hunting again. So I think it's got a lot of vehicles coming in this animal. So I think we'll give some of them a space. Then if there's a chance, we might actually we'll be always listening to the calm here, just to see what is happening with this cat. I think we weren't going to lose her, and they cannot lose her. They'll be probably follow her. So if there's a chance next turn, we'll probably get the gap again to come and have a look at it. It's okay with everyone.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. Welcome back to our sleepy cheetah. We haven't moved, and neither have they. They've just been dozing off, and the male is still panting quite heavily. I was actually watching and trying to count how long the female, because she was facing towards us, trying to count how many seconds she actually manages to close her eyes for, and the longest I got to was 18 seconds. So yeah, they don't get too much sleep. They define what a catnap is. They really have to be on high alert, have their heads on a swivel, because there's lots of animals that can potentially hurt them. Sorry about that. Sorry, I missed that question. She's managed to get some good sleep there. So Chloe's asking, why do cheetah have black stripes on their faces? It's a very good question, Chloe. So that black marking on their face is believed to help with the glare. So because we know cheetah are active during the day and they hunt in the daylight hours, when the sun can be quite harsh, and you know what it's like when you walk outside and you don't have your sunglasses and you have to sort of squint your eyes. You would imagine that would affect your eyesight, and cheetah rely very heavily on their eyesight, and so that black is believed to help with the glare, and so cheetah are able to keep their eyes wide open and use the full potential of their eyesight to look for prey, for hunting opportunities, as well as to look out for danger. You can imagine if they didn't have those black stripes and they had to squint their eyes, their eyesight might be restricted a little bit. Now the female has managed to get her head down and she's having a snooze, and they're almost taking turns to get a little bit more rest than usual, and the male has got his head up now. There's not too much signs there are no signs actually that these cheetah might move. That's the first little stretch we've seen, but straight back to sleep. So we are going to be leaving these cheetah here and going to see what else we might be able to find this afternoon.
Here we are. From the mongoose, I have found a nice herd of elephants, and they have a tiny little one that we are going to share with you. There he is. For some reason I just said he, maybe he's a he. He's a very small one. I think he's the smallest one I've seen all day. He doesn't know what lies ahead of him as an elephant. Look, he just lie down, and the little cousin is gonna help. Yeah, look at that. Tiny. Yeah, this is just, yeah, this is only like a month, I would say. It's really small, and they don't know much, what to do with their trunk. They usually sometimes, swing it around. Right now, they're developing the muscles. You can tell he's trying to hold on to that piece of twig or grass, which is such a task, but it will come in handy in the next, maybe 3-4 months. It start developing muscles, and then it's going to be used to feel, to taste, to touch, to drink, to hold, to greet. It's going to be used as a snorkel. It's going to be used for almost everything that is, that makes that little elephant. Yeah, I see little cousin is checking the little guy out behind the ears. How do they feel? I'm sure this is how they also experience, what's all to be an elephant. The little guy, I think he's been in the sun, he's been hot, and looks like he's a little bit tired. But the little cousin is trying to say, hey, wake up. We're not waiting for you. We need to eat. Yes, this is lovely. This is beautiful. I don't know what's going on in the little one's mind. Let's see if he's gonna wake up. But I think he's very tired. He's very tired, and he's like, "Can we rest a little bit?" Yeah. It's really cool. Yeah, this year we've seen lots and lots of young babies. Is he gonna do a roll? No. I'm sure he also is feeling a little bit he wants to be scratched on the back. That's why he's lying on that rough grass. Yeah, we have more elephants here. That's one of the matriarchs, I would say. She's quite big. Chad, Jumbo, you ask, what distance they travel per day. Over here in the Mara, maybe a good 5 kilometers. But they rarely do that here. There is almost everything that they need within a very short distance or within reach. There is plenty of grass, there's plenty of water, there is plenty of trees. So I would say that all the diet is here, all the water they need is here. And salt licks are not very far, So they don't need to travel very far here in the Mara, but in areas like the Kalahari and in Sudan and Chad, where water is far and wide, they have been known to travel even up to 20 kilometers, in some areas up to 200 kilometers, in a day. So when forced, they can really go for whatever they need. But over here, they have it easy, or not rather easy, it's just they're in the right place, these ones. So they travel a good 3 to 4 kilometers, I would say. We have very many of them around this area because it's very lush, there is plenty of water, and the grass is always in abundance. Yeah, I don't know where our little guy went, but I think he's been surrounded by everybody. Maybe somebody gave him some shade. Sometimes they get sunburn when they're that young, so maybe an adult covered him. Remember to talk to us. Hashtag WildEarth. Questions and comments are very welcome. Let's see what's happening. Where is he? He's somewhere there. I can't see him. No, he's in between the elephants. Really, covered. Yeah, looks like these guys have got no hurry. They've decided to stay there. Maybe they have noticed that the little guy needs some rest. And elephants are very intelligent. They can learn that, and they can pick up that very quickly. And they can speak amongst one another and decide, let's stick around this area. And that's usually, it's an order from the matriarch. We're not going anywhere. We're staying here because a little guy needs some rest, and everybody sticks around. Like you can tell right now, they've all moved into that area. Sorry, could you repeat the question? I didn't understand it. Yes. Dear watcher, Jumbo, you ask if the little guy is already eating grass. No, it hasn't started eating grass. They'll start eating grass almost at around 6 months onwards. So right now they're really suckling. They are drinking lots of milk, which is in plenty. Yeah, also they're just drinking water right now and just milk. That's what they're doing. Yeah, this little guy is about 2.5, and already you can tell he's going to be a male. Those tusks, sometimes we guys can tell when they protrude outwards, not straight to follow, like downwards towards the trunk. They're like out. You can tell that they're going to be a male, and also with a rounded forehead, I can tell he's going to be a male. So, and he's not drinking. He's over the age of drinking. It's beautiful here in the Masai Mara. The weather is just perfect. The light is super cool. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying this. That's another huge female. Looks like she's not lactating, so she doesn't have, a little one. You can tell, her mammary glands are in between her forelegs, and they're not carrying any milk. Maybe she's got one in her belly. They normally carry a young one for up to 22 months. So that one doesn't have any young one. That's another older female, quite far distance. Very relaxed. Enjoying the grass. Can you hear them ripping off? I don't know if you can hear it. Logic stuff. Jumbo, you ask if elephants use the tail for anything. Yes, they do, swat insects coming from the back and underneath where their organs are. They can, get rid of insects, within that area. That's what it's used for, mainly. And those tail hairs are so rough. They're like a binding wire. They're very rough. Yeah, there's our little guy. He's had a little bit of rest. Now he's catching up. Drink. That's really cool. Look at that. Yeah. Usually when they get older, the space in between the leg and the body is very squeezed. So the female usually stretches her leg forwards to allow more space, but you can tell she's just standing the same way she's supposed to stand, and the little guy can get in to have a drink. Yeah. Mom is not really happy. Are you gonna move ahead and have some more? Yes, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, these elephants are really giving us a chance to see that. We taught them well. Yeah, until that one covers everything. Yeah, that was super. I don't know if we're going to experience that again, but it's always nice to see how they drink. Well, let me enjoy the little guy drinking, as this is very, very amazing.
Yeah, guys, look at how cool this is. So we've got a little ground agama over here. And this just shows you how the temperature has changed from yesterday or the day before to today, with this northerly wind constantly pushing. It's been really, almost a cooler day today. So with that being the case, he's actually out busy sunning himself for a little bit. Normally this time of the day on a hot day you won't find him anywhere near the open soil, but quite cool. I mean, these little oaks are strictly diurnal, so you won't really find them moving around at night time. However, when the sun gets to the point where it's too hot, you won't really find them out and about and moving and, on this hot sand. So with that being the case, quite cool to see them out in the open. Typically, these little oaks very quickly run away when you come by. So what a treat to just see them. Beautiful. I love that camouflage on him, eh? And they'll be out looking for little, when they're feeding, they'll be out looking for little beetles or Chad did a comment just now. He looks quite similar to a bearded dragon, and yes, Chad, you're right. Absolutely. He's a little smaller though. It's difficult to get a size reference on him now, but I'd say if you had to compare him to something, probably around as long as maybe your hand, from the tip of your finger to the tip of your palm, and about maybe 7.5 to 10 centimeters high if he stands upright. So quite a bit smaller, but as you know, I mean, obviously with both the arid type environment, the bearded dragon, also more an arid type of reptile. So very much the same look and build. These guys just a little smaller. They are burrowing, so you'll find them also living in little holes during the night, or sleeping and so on, or hiding underneath a thick bush or something like that to get away from things like bat-eared foxes and those types of oaks that's going to love eating them. But yeah, very, very cool. It's not always, I know we've been looking at the cheetahs and we've been looking at the lions, and the big stuff are cool, but these little things are what makes an afternoon special. And yeah, like I said earlier, guys, I mean, if he comes across a little beetle or so, they would like to eat it. However, it has to be a small one. They almost exclusively feed on ants and termites. So, I mean, being out here, luckily we've got a healthy population of termites, which is also why we've got very good pangolin and aardvark around here. So yeah, lots of food for this little guy.
Thank you very much, and you're welcome back to the MARA. Our dear viewers, right now we are stationed at the mighty Moro River, and right in our camera frame we've got a prehistoric creature. This is a massive crocodile, and actually this is one of the crossing points. Anytime there will be wild beasts that cross back and forth over the Mara River, this is one of the best spots to lay an ambush. And quite often, crocodiles in the Mara River, sure through, this is a huge crocodiles, and bearing in mind this migration season is still on, and a few weeks ago there have been crossings in the over the Mara River, and these guys have been having a feast, and you can see his stomach is really big. So they've got a very slow digestive system. Like basically it takes quite a long to entirely digest what they eat. So the Mara River is a very important component in the entire Mara ecosystem. I would say it's like the heartbeat of this particular ecosystem. And during the dry season, this is the only reliable source of water. Apart from it being home to the crocs and the hippos, so many other animals depends on this river for water. Upstream a bit, you can see the rapids, and you can hear the hippos on the background. And I mean, it's such a beautiful and peaceful place to be. The rapids and the sound of the river is just gorgeous. So crocodiles are cold-blooded animals, and the sun is Nicholas, crocodiles are animals that spends time in the water, and they're very slow actually on land, but when they get into the river, this is their comfort zone, and they can really swim very fast. Probably slower than a human on land, Nicholas. So crocodiles are cold-blooded animals, and most of the time their body temperature changes according to the external environment. In the next 1.5 or 2 hours, the sun will be going down, so this crocodile is just enjoying the last bit of the sun before it goes down. Right, thank you very much, and I'm gonna be staying here for another short while, just enjoying the peaceful, calm breeze of the Mara River.
There are giraffes everywhere on Djuma at the moment. Lots of young boys. We know that they're younger from their size. And I mention regularly about the darker coloration of the patches, sort of relating to dominance. And I guess it's not directly dominance. The darker male giraffes are found to be a lot more solitary and less social than their sort of lighter counterparts. So this then leads on to the fact that they could be more dominant. Just like a lion's mane, really, the dominant males are said to be preferred. The darker you are, the darker your patches are, the females will show preference for you. The darker a male lion's mane is, the females will show preference. And the darker males are therefore said to be more dominant because of their sort of social status. The way that they're moving between females allows them to become more dominant, and therefore they will be more darker. And they're said to use a sort of very often successful but risky mating tactic, and that is roaming. Solitary roaming between groups of females. They may actually also have some males around them looking for a sexually receptive female. So it's a roaming technique. You're out here on your own, You're dominant, you're successful, and you're just going to roam between herds of females looking for one that may be receptive, and therefore you can mate with them. It's also said that the sort of lighter ones will therefore be less dominant, and they just might be making the best of a bad situation. You're not the dominant guy, so you're just going to stick with the gals and hope that you might get lucky. You're not going to roam. You're not going to move from herd to herd, chancing your luck. You're just going to stick with the gals, and maybe one of them is going to choose you when there's not a dominant male around. A fantastic tactic. But the next step in science after that fantastic paper that came out last year in 2019 is to find out if the colour of the patches relates to a male's condition. So could it be linked to testosterone? Could it be linked to heat stress? Diet? Is it just simply genetics? Or is it a combination of multiple factors all thrown in together? So the sort of colour, or the coloration of male giraffes' colours in the patches is a very hot topic in science. Linda, you're asking about that poor male with the awful injury to his eye. I've not seen him since coming back. I know that Trishala had him a few times, so he's been around, but I've actually not managed to see him. And I pass through Twin Dams every single day, and that's Kirst saying she's not seen him. But giraffes are not territorial. And they do roam, so there's a large possibility that he's just wandered off somewhere else to eat all the knobthorn flowers somewhere else. But I've not seen him, Linda, sadly. The last time I did see him, though, he seemed to be healing quite well, considering the extent of his injuries. He looked like he was getting sort of cleaner and stronger. So we're on our way to Buffelshoek Dam.
Beautiful. We had an opportunity to come back to our leopard, and then seems to be she actually moved further east from. So we still got this beautiful leopard again. We have an opportunity to return back to this sighting here. As you can see, she's just busy cleaning herself after that long walk she has done. And then, of course, you know, leopards, they prefer very thick bush, and this is how we followed her in here, where a lot of other guys, they just move out because they could not keep up with her. And there's another car on the other side. You might hear a lot of talking from them, but it's good that she just went down and lie down, probably busy cleaning again and again. So we're probably going to have a beautiful sighting of this beautiful cat. We're not sure when she's last eaten. When was her last meal? Where she come from? Looks like she was on a waste for entire, I think, the whole week. There was no sign of her back here. Yes, she's on move again. Very well camouflaged with this gold grass looking, and it's kind of like match her color. So let's try keep up with her. It's dense bush here, so I'll try focus on her pretty much. If we lose her, it's just because, you know, it's getting very tough, but we'll try. Let's go straight. Straight. We go like this, and We got a visual again of her, where she just dropped into this very thick grass. But, hunting for them, they gotta have to do this. As you see, she walk and stop. I've seen leopard, kill also during the day, which, is there wastes a lot of energy, but sometimes there comes success. When many of the antelope, they hide their babies in these tall grasses. And these leopard know exactly, every time they hunt, they always check carefully in these tall, thick grasses, because this is where mainly the baby antelope could be laid behind there. Usually, she is indeed a beautiful cat, and it's so that she still needs to work it out how she gonna get her dinner for tonight. Leopards work harder for their hunt because they're not actually social animal. They're not in a group. They don't move a lot in a group, except when there is a male and a female, but a business going. Alex, how often do the female leopard get into a territorial fight? Well, that it happens quite often, but usually it's not a proper fight. When these territorial of a females, where they share one male, of course, for these 2 female or 3 females within the area where the males dominate the area, every time they meet on a boundary of between, a lot of growl. They just growl one another. What I've seen, they growl actually take a lot of time, and from there one move back on its own territory and other one move on its own territory. If it comes to a fight, is when sometimes you find that overlap of territory, and that leopard went and killed, and of course, for trying to share meat, they're going to be fighting. We're just going to stick around here.
Buffalo Dam was the right call. I have not seen buffalo in a very long time. Now it appears to only be 3, but they actually blend into the vegetation very, very well, so there could be more about to stream through. Old Zaga boys by the looks of it. Big old boys. You can normally tell the old Daga boys by their size, the way they move, and if you look at this individual, there we go. You can see he's got patches in his hair and he's scarred. Let me just a closer look. Yes, it appears to just be the 3 of them. So I think we're going to sit here just a little bit longer and watch them drink.
Jumbo, and welcome back to the Bara. And I have here hyenas on patrol. These are the famous spotted hyenas, and looks like it's a female in front. She could be the matriarch. This is part of the Olololo clan, because I'm within their area. And looks like they didn't come home last night because they're headed towards where the den was last seen, or where I saw the den last. Okay, not anymore. Are they gonna come, the youngsters? Yeah, spotted hyena. It's one of our commonest hyena. We do find the striped, but it's not as common, rarely seen, nocturnal, and very few. Yeah, this is one of our other predators that we get here in the Mara. Very, very successful, but misunderstood for many, many years. For some reason, they have decided to turn to the right. I don't know what's in there. Maybe they're having a drink, or they have decided to have a rest. I'm gonna give them a few seconds, see what they're thinking. It's very sometimes hard when you're not close to, gauge or to find out if it's a male or female. But these two youngsters looked like they were both genders, male and female. So it's really, really hard. I'm hoping they're gonna come out there. Or maybe I should try. Let me try there. It's better. Yeah, there is very long grass here. I don't know if we'll be able to see them, but maybe they haven't gone very far. Oh, there they are. I see them. Looks like they're getting deeper and deeper into the long grass. We might lose sight of them, but you will have a glimpse of them over there as they disappear. I don't know if you'll see them, James. They're disappearing now. There they are. It looks like they haven't eaten for a while, so maybe tonight they'll find a meal. It is in plenty because back there is toppies, there is zebra, so they might look for a meal tonight. They hunt in packs because there's so many in this clan. There is almost 50, so it's easy for them to bring down even the biggest herbivore we have here, which is the buffalo. They rarely go for buffalo, but zebra and wildebeest are always on the menu. They might have a den here because it's rather dry where they are. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna continue on by this track, see what I can find for you further down.
Oh, how I miss the hyenas of the Mara. Especially the North Clan. Now our Daga boys are still drinking. Well, one of them was. Very slow to move, slow to walk. Normally the old boys are in a lot of pain when they get to this age. And they're not really reproductively fit anymore, so they just sort of hang around with one another. There's no need to hang around with the ladies. You're not going to mate anymore, so you hang around with one another. Now they can actually be quite tender to one another, but aggressive to others. Yeah, watcha. You're asking, do any animals get stuck in the mud? Sadly, yes. Now, at this stage right now, when the Buffelshoek Dam is so full, no. But once it really starts to dry up, which I'm actually not sure is going to happen this year, and the volume completely reduces, you're left with really sticky mud. And if you can imagine us walking in it, you would start to sink almost like quicksand. And sadly, we have seen animals stuck in the mud over the years. There was an antelope last year that got stuck, and sometimes they can get out, but sometimes the more they move, the more they panic. They just sort of sink deeper and deeper, and then they become exhausted, and that's the problem. For buffalo, there was a buffalo last year that was rescued, completely stuck in the mud, and I believe a team of people pulled it out with a sort of tractor and some rope. So yes, they do get stuck, but not at this stage, not when the dam is full like this. You need to get sort of really thick and wet mud before they'll start to get stuck. And the Talamatis hunted a buffalo last night up in Buffelshoek. And just to give you an update, the Pungwe pack left Chitwa last night because they had a bit of a war with the hyenas, and they spent the night on Torchwood. They're still on Torchwood. And another update for you all before I forget. There's a very VIP guest at Arathusa Lodge. Yes, he's arrived. It's caused a bit of a stir in the area. It was hilarious when I asked Kirsten to guess who she thought it might be. But it is in fact Mr. Hosanna. He is currently at Arathusa Lodge, which is really not too far. If you're not familiar with the area, it's southwest of Djuma. So we've not got Traverse in Arathusa, I'm afraid. But if Hosanna decided to go north into Simbambili, we can go there. And if he decides to go northeast a little bit, he'll arrive in Djuma. Now, I have not seen tracks for Mulwati in a really long time. I've seen female leopard tracks around, but I have not seen male leopard tracks around. We know Tingana's now on Cheetah Plains. There's not a single male leopard trap in Djuma since I've came back, which is really interesting. Where is Mulwati? If Hosanna comes here, there may be a space. There may be a vacant property up for the taking. Hosanna's a big boy now, as they say in South Africa. Yeah, he is big. He's just like his daddy. And he's been in many battles with many males, Hukamuri being one of them. And if he comes over to Djuma and there's no sort of fresh scent marking from Mulwati, then the area is his. If there's no territorial male leaving his scent telling another male, this is mine, back off, then he can come in. There's a high chance. If any of you do, if you are sitting on the laptop, look at the sort of distance from where we are in Djuma to Arathusa Lodge, and you'll be very surprised. It's really not far at all. And even if he doesn't cross into Djuma, even if he just stays on Triple M or Gowrie Main, we can still view him. So cross every single finger and every single toe that Mr. Hosanna makes an appearance once again.
What a great news is that, Hosanna. Sure, yeah, I would also be very happy to meet him. You know, it's been a while since he disappeared up in the southwest in that area. It's good news that, you know, he's coming nearly back east again. So, Shidulu, we still got her here. Look at that. We tried to get as much as we can, nice visual of her once she just settled down. And we're right in the middle of the drainage line system. But we also western side of a Galago pen. This is the location of where we are right now. And looks like she either probably gonna go drink and we'll just gonna wait here.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. We've just found a male cheetah sleeping on the road, and his brother is just walking past our left-hand side now. And you've joined us just after he got up from the road and moved off. We'll see now. But they seem to have lost each other, and as we arrived, we could hear one calling, like a high-pitched, almost like a bird chirp. But it looks like they've managed to find each other now. So these are two different cheetah to the ones we were sitting with earlier. And this is some pretty unusual vegetation or habitat for them to be moving through. It's quite thick. As you can see, you're only getting a look at them through the gap sometimes. So Chad's asking if cheetah hunt at night. And no, they don't, Chad, not typically. They prefer to hunt in the cooler hours of the day and the low light times of the day. So the early morning and in the evenings or late afternoon, dusk, when it's starting to get a little bit darker, when the light is changing, and so the animals that they would try to hunt, those animals' eyes are starting to try and adapt to it getting dark, and the cheetah will have the upper hand because the light is changing. The prey's eyes are adapting, and so sometimes things that are very camouflaged, like a cheetah, will melt into their environment a lot better, and the prey will find it harder to spot the cheetah. But I have heard stories of cheetah hunting, especially males, in full moon, but it is unusual. I'm going to see if I can just... Oh, we've got another 2 cars with us here. So we're going to just try and see if we can get another view, because it is a little bit blocked by the bush at the moment, and yeah, hopefully you get another look when you come back.
That's very good of a cheetah, and same to leopard. The only thing with the leopards, they wouldn't pose too much in the open area, and of course they're always very harder to find, and they would be very much nocturnal compared to the cheetah does. And it's very good, we were so pleased to see this girl here move for us in this kind of temperature, and they're driven by hunger sometimes, or maintaining their own territory, which you see in Shidulu when she come back this far east from the west, it's because she owns a little bit of a portion here at Djuma, where Tandi also in the area on the eastern side of Djuma Dam there. I think this is where between these 2 animals' boundaries a lot of time. And, we just want to know what's going to happen, because, males change quite often, dominate, change for the males. And then, we're just going to see what's happening in the next future, but let's stick with this cat, see what it does.
Alrighty guys, we think we found Mom. There's definitely a female cheetah here walking straight in front of us, just over there. All blood on the face, so it looks like she's had a good kill. We just need to get a little closer. We actually found her about 20 minutes ago, and just as we saw her, when we wanted to go closer, there you'll be able to see her going through now. There we go. But just as we wanted to go closer, there came a male gemsbok, and he started chasing her around. And so, big confusion afterwards. We had to track her a little bit, and luckily David spotted her as we were on the tracks. So, it would seem like she might be going back to the cubs. Well, hopefully, if it is the female that's got the cubs at the moment. I mean, we can't confirm it just yet, but it would be great to see the female coming or heading to the cubs and reuniting with them as we get there. That would be great. So we're gonna slowly follow her and see where she goes. Hopefully we'll get a lacquer visual of her that gets to the den site. Yeah, guys, I mean, me too. That would be great. I'm hoping that it is the mom. Like I said, we just need to be 100% certain. I don't want to get too close to her. She's just had an oryx chase her around, so don't want to disturb her anymore. But she is holding to the line that she's been on the whole time. You can see there she's going. Looking back to see if that oryx is still around. But big belly, so lots of milk if it is her that is going to get produced. So yeah, if we get another better look at her, or if she comes closer to the den side, we'll let you guys know, okay?
Well, we found the rest of the herd. I don't know whether the Jaga boys are travelling separately or together, but now we have a huge breeding herd with females and youngsters. I'm sure there's still a lot of young boys in there too. Now we're heading back to the lions from this morning, the 4 young males, and they're hungry. They're really hungry, so I'm wondering if they're going to travel north after all in search of a delicious buffalo. Now, technically speaking, buffalo could absolutely defend themselves against lions. They're huge. They come in great numbers. Look at the numbers in this herd, and they're equipped with weapons. So why on earth do they always get taken down by lions? Why are they not able to sort of stand up and defend themselves? And it's basically an evolutionary arms race. One of the theories thinks that because they are successful enough as a species, they're incredibly successful and very prevalent through Africa, that natural selection has no need to develop their, I wouldn't say intelligence is the right word, I would say maybe awareness, develop their awareness further to have better evasion skills, if that makes sense. So therefore they do get taken down by lions, and they aren't able to defend themselves the way that they possibly could. And it's to do with evolution. If the buffalo get far too successful and they're able to throw off every single lion that tries to take them down, then the buffaloes would overpopulate and they would overtake the predators. So what happens here at the minute is lions as the apex predator are in the lead. But it may change over time, and I'm talking a long period of time. This is a theory that comes from, well, many different theories, but one of them is the Red Queen. It's a fantastic theory. If you're interested, Google it. And the Red Queen term comes from Alice Through the Looking Glass. But generally speaking, it's all about the evolutionary arms race between species. They cannot be at an equal level. Therefore, lions wouldn't survive or buffalo wouldn't survive. And that's why in this situation, the lions have the upper hand. Buffalo don't evade them the way that they possibly could. If every single buffalo in this herd charged a lion, the lions would run or they would be killed. But that doesn't happen. And that leaves a big question of why on our lips. And I think it's utterly fascinating. So if you are interested, type in the Red Queen. You'll be surprised at what comes up. So talking of the lions, we're going to head back into Djuma and look for them.
Thank you very much, and welcome to this special site here where we got quite a collection of wetland birds. This is a marshy area, and we've got about like 3 different species of birds all staying together. We've got the black-headed herons, we've got the sacred ibises, and the cattle egrets. So they're living one by one. Seems like it's getting to it's a rush hour, and the moment the sun goes down, these birds need to get a place to roost and spend the night. But quite often, you drive along this road, you'll always see these birds around this area fishing and feasting, catching fish in the wet area, and frogs and so many other stuff that they can possibly, for better part of the day, you always see a collection of birds in this particular area. Way in a distance, on a dead branch, there is a raptor perching at the very top, and you can see kind of a black chest and white below. So certainly this qualifies to be a black-chested snake eagle. It's quite a beautiful sunset sighting the birds seems to be they've been really enjoying or having good meals, and it's time to just kind of hang around and do a little bit of feather maintenance. As you can see, a lot of them preening and just putting their feathers in place, maybe in readiness for takeoff anytime soon. So in the Mara, we got about 500 different bird species, and for real birds fanatics, it's a very beautiful place to always come and enjoy a wide range of different birds here in the Mara. The snake eagle on the background, this is a raptor, and the only way to have an eye or to look around is by sitting on a raised or a very tall tree, and that will give him or her a chance to scan and look into the grass and detect any kind of movement. Then they are always ready to quickly fly in. And most birds of prey do have very got a small family of Egyptian gulls as well coming in, which it's time to take back our viewers to another sighting elsewhere.
Alrighty guys, so we've been lucky to have her now lie down, give us a bit of a better look to possibly, we're still not 100% sure, but it definitely looks like it is the mother. She's lying a little funny now, but at least you can see her nicely at the moment. Quite relaxed, and what she's doing now at the moment is precisely what she was doing the other day when we saw her, and that's just acting like there's not anything that she needs to get to at the moment. So lying down, just being relaxed, and trying to fool us rather than take us to the den side. So what we actually decided was we're going to leave her and slowly make our way to the den side. Just go and sit there quietly. See if she doesn't want to come to the den side then by herself. She's definitely on her way to the den side if it is her. But we're going to take a bit of a gamble and just go sit over there. So Pat just had a question. How do you track cheetah at Tswalu? So luckily we are very, I want to say we're very lucky to have this sandy substrate around here. So the tracks register quite well in the sand, and it keeps, but it stays well preserved for quite some time. So unfortunately you do need to make sure that you don't take it, climb on a track that's 2 days old or so. They can look fresh for very long. But as soon as they've started walking in the sand, it's when I say relatively easy, guys, we've got some great trackers here at Tswalu, and they really know what they're doing. So it's relatively easy for them, not always for any person, to follow those tracks. So they'll get off on foot. We will, with the vehicles, drive around the block to see if there's any tracks coming out of the block. Or cross over the road so that we know, okay, we can jump to the next one. But you'll climb off on foot, and the tracker will then start following the tracks while they are on foot until they find them. We once had a case of one of the trackers actually walking for close to 5 hours before they found the cheetah. So really dedicated and extremely sharp eyes. And, sometimes we have to jump off the car and also quickly follow tracks to see where they were going and so on. We jump off the vehicle and we physically follow the tracks on foot. And that is how we track the animals. Not only cheetahs, but anything else.
Really beautiful, following kind of animals like cheetah, which is normally they walk, but their footprint are a lot different, or slightly different to this cat. Well, our Chiduli now, she just moved, but we're just gonna follow her. We still have a little bit of a visual, and then I'll be driving through this wood. We might lose the visual from the camera, but we'll catch up with her again. The way she's moving right close to that road, just keep up with her. Move. We just want to keep the sighting, that's all.
Good luck, Andrew. I hope you're not stuck. If you are, welcome to the WildEarth Club of Getting Stuck. It's a wonderful club. It's a great place to be. It happens a lot. Now, we are making our way back to the boys. Apparently, they're still sleeping. But really, any time now, they're going to get up. And why I want to be with them a little bit later is to see them get up. Their ribs were sticking out earlier, so they're hungry. And also, are they going to call? What's their behavior going to be like? I had a really in-depth chat with Rexon today, and he also agrees the cubs are going to be fine. They're old enough now, and these boys really are here for the challenge. He also feels that the behavior of the Nkuhumas lately and their movements suggests, and it's a very interesting theory, I have to say, suggests that the Nkuhumas have been aware of these boys, and they're aware. The females know that change is about to come, or a threat is on the horizon, and they have changed their movements due to that. Now, unfortunately, due to not having maps, I don't completely know the Nkuhuma's movements of late, but that's a very interesting theory. I wonder if these boys have been sort of searching around for quite some time. They've maybe even bumped into the Nkuhumas, we don't know. But if they stay, there's definitely going to be some sort of clash between the Avokas and these new boys in town. And they're very, very handsome. But younger, much younger than the Avokas, and definitely in better condition. We discussed it at length at breakfast today. And normally when you have an older coalition, even when they're in their prime, around 7 years, which is exactly what the Avokas are injured. They've probably got a lot of muscle pain. They've been going strong for quite a while. Normally when a coalition like that gets challenged by the younger boys always win. So let's see what happens. They may leave. They may end up going west or deciding that Djuma is not for them, but they also may stay, and that means that they absolutely will meet the Avokas.
Guys, look at how cool this is. You know, we were on our way out from that mom cheetah just to get to the road, and just as we got to the road, we spotted this little guy. Spotted eagle owl. So, yeah, just so that you know, the name actually is a spotted eagle owl. I don't mean we spotted an eagle owl. But look at those beautiful, beautiful yellow eyes. He's busy sleeping at the moment. They're exclusively nocturnal. But look at how cool those ears are. So guys, just to give you an idea as far as size is concerned, he's probably the size of, I want to say, a small chicken. Maybe, small chicken maybe. So relatively large owl. I'd say the second largest owl that we have around here. The largest one that I've seen around here is the Verreaux's eagle owl, or used to be called the giant eagle owl. They look very much the same apart from the size difference. Shape and structure is very much the same. But yeah, very, very cool. And these little guys are going to be, all over all of the field mice, and we've got a rat over here called a black tree rat. They'll love eating that as well. I just love those ears and especially those eyes. Beautiful. He's actually giving us a little wink there. But I mean, extremely well camouflaged. Yeah, I mean, giving us the stare down there. Stunning, stunning. Beautiful. And very well camouflaged, we were lucky because we were actually driving on the other side of the tree, and we could see the silhouette breaking through the light at the back, and that's how we spotted it. But if he had to sit against the trunk of the tree or so, almost impossible to spot him then during the day. You have to be very lucky to see. There you can see now. I mean, you can just make out the silhouette, and that's how we were lucky enough to find it.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. So these two cheetah brothers have settled down in some pretty thick bush, and we managed to have a look at their tummies. One of them is, there we go. Look at the tummy, if you can. Very fat bellies. They seem to be moving out back towards the road. So we're gonna try and see if we can get another look at them. So let's give that a go. Oopsie. We managed to get ourselves right into a tight little spot here just to get that little window that we had with you previously. But we're gonna, I think, need a little bit of time here to get out.
How good is that? We also have to do the same when she was moving this cat. And we thought, we're going to lose her because there's another drainage line between her and the other side. But thank God that there's another car standing by on the other side. So if she does that, it means that they're going to have a visual then while we're trying to get out of this thicket. And she just went lie right there next to that little mound. But she's haven't stopped looking around, scanning around for a chance of movement of an antelope. So at the moment, sure, yeah, that's a very good question. So the whole entire substance, I'm not sure. But it's well known of this area, higher population of a leopard density. So, which is really guaranteed. If you come to this reserve, then you're definitely going to be showing a leopard. So, I know of Djuma, where we're at right now, we're sharing with a lot of, boundaries, properties, leopards, they come and go a lot of time. Look, that's how she look at me. And in this specific area of Djuma, we see about maybe 5 to 6 different leopard. But of course, they come and go. Like what is happening now with the Shidulu. She come from the west. and she wasn't around here for the whole week. I think last saw her on top of a tree up in slightly southwest of here. And this is how they does. I mean, they have a lot of, work to do. They have a lot of, journey to take, for them to be able to reactivate their scent. They got to do regularly, especially after just the rain. And their scent marking, it's all washed off, but it's for them to redo that again. So this is where you often see a lot of different leopard, because they have to make sure their territory is all marked on and always stays active. So there's no conflict. There's no where somebody come into that territory without knowing that somebody have occupied that piece of land. So yeah, of course, it's a high density of leopard. Sabi sense, knowing that also northern boundary of Manyeleti is open between Sabi sense and that game reserve as well. So seeing leopards from there, it's possible. That's why now Tingana, male leopard trying to disappear and to come back east, always visit for a short time, they return back, and it's a few of it changed when these territory things change for this animal. It's it changed in a different way of normally. It's not normally where now they're happy to move. No, somebody has to push. There's something to do with about strength. Stronger. Once you're stronger, then means you can dominate for longer. But lost control, you grown up, lose condition. That's where you become old enough, you cannot defend your own territory. It means you got a lot of a challenge where a lot of arrival males will claim that piece of your land, and if you cannot win them, one of them, of course, you can push it out. And that's why territory males change quite a lot. See male from far come to dominate here. Our leopards have been born in the area here, and they all moved south. Our quarantine moved to the east, of course, and we understand she wouldn't dominate, her own mother. But this was before just her mother disappeared. Also, same as a Djuma went south. So, and then, just like our son also went away, but for them trying to return back here again, we're just going to see what it's going to be like. Because, of course, if, you can't have a lot of males. It's got to be a lot of females. It works, but not a lot of males. So, but yeah, we'll see how it goes then. I'm going to wait here with this cat.
Has the internet broken? Is it still working, Kirst? I hope so. I'm pretty sure we couldn't broadcast without it. But if Hosanna does come back, Kirsten said it's broken. The show's going to end soon. It's over. Now, he might not come, but I've got all ears on the ground, all eyes on the ground to report his movements. Wouldn't it just be amazing if he came back? It would complete the circle. His father appears to be nomadic now. And, well, there you have it. There's definitely room for Hosanna to at least try and come here. Exactly what these sleepyheads are doing right now. We've got all four of them. They're in mighty fine condition. So with the Nkuhuma cubs, the worrying factor is the females that have been mating recently. During my last stint here, we had lots of mating, Blondie and Mohawk. That is the worrying factor. If these females are successfully pregnant and they do successfully give birth, those cubs are really, really at risk, and it would be very worrying. But I've not seen the Nkuhumas in quite some time. And of course, it's very difficult to pinpoint if a lioness or even a leopardess is pregnant. You need to look for the sort of bulge at the very, very lower end of the body. Not the tummy bulge, because we all know that they can bulge when they eat too much. The lower down bulge. And then, of course, you start to look for prominent mammary glands and suckle marks as time goes on. But I really hope these boys get up, and if they do, get snapping away, everyone. I want screenshots. I want to try and make a little ID folder for them, because it is the first time that we're seeing them. It's my first time, it's some of you first time, maybe all, and even all the other lodges around here. No one's seen them before. Garden pole, I'm gonna guess. You're asking if the avokas have to leave, where would they go? That's interesting. I really don't know. Poem. Garden poem. How could I forget? You're not a pole. Apologies. Yes, I don't know. If they go further down south, they will encounter the likes of the Birmingham boys. So I personally feel they would either head east, possibly cross that boundary and go into the Kruger, or west. But I really don't know. The avokas have already been pushing further down south as it is anyway. So they may opt for a similar tactic like the Birmingham boys did and just give Djuma up. No battle, no aggression, no takeover. Just give it up and leave it vacant. But I'm interested to see if these boys, get vocal in any way once they start to get active and mobile. It's highly likely that they will. I think they're trying to remain undercover right now. I didn't think I would see the day for new lions to come into the area. Now, once young males are ousted from their pride, whether they're alone or with brothers, they lead a little bit of a nomadic lifestyle and very much keep a low profile until they are able to contend for a territory. And this normally happens around the age of 5, generally speaking. So they've got to keep a low profile. So they'll be used to that. There's always a threat around the corner. And as I mentioned earlier, a male lion is said to be fully mature at around 7 years old. And this is normally when their mane is at its fullest. So there's really good infographics online where you can sort of gauge the age of a lion, a male lion, just by looking at the mane development, the nose, and all sorts of other features. And once you've sort of had your tenure of a territory and you're ousted, the older males tend to go back to being nomadic. So it's a full circle of life for a male lion. So we're going to sit here and enjoy watching these boys snooze.
All right. So now this leopard, she's looking pretty much there's a car right on the other side, but she heard a lot of birds calling in front of her while we're here. She almost wanted to stood up, but then, like you can see now, she's trying to always reposition. So she's pretty much alert. Could be that maybe she's not sure what is happening here, coming this far east, and then, for them, how they communicate. They're gonna have to come across the other leopard scent. If it's a male here, this is how now she's going to react, or wanting to know. It's a stranger thing with this animal. If it's a male in an area that she knows of course she will notice from that male scent mark that she will know exactly how fresh it is, and then able to be very much interested on tracking him down, especially when she comes on heat, which when I look at this female, something tells me about either she pregnancy because that belly's still there. And the other day when we saw her, she was full stomach because probably she was eating a little bit of that antelope, the acre she had. But today it looks like the belly was a little bit hanging. A bit, trying to zoom in with my binocs, but I couldn't actually get a chance to do that because she's always moving through this thick stuff. But if it's not the case, then she comes pregnancy, which is good news, and it will be good to actually able to look forward to see little one. I'll be here for a little while with this cat.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. We've caught up to the cheetah after my very graceful about a 20-point turn. We managed to get out, and we've found them again, and we've found why their bellies are so full. So they managed to, it looks like a female Ngala that they've managed to catch probably early this morning, because they've really already eaten all the meat on this Ngala. There's not too much left. And now, as the sun is starting to set, throughout the day they've been resting in the shade, digesting, and as soon as there's a little gap in their tummies, they will try to fill it, especially now as it's getting dark. We're going to get things like hyenas, lions, leopards that will start to get active as it cools down, and we can already smell this carcass. It's already starting to smell quite pungent, and that the wind that's blowing today is going to carry that smell quite a distance. So these cheetah, I think, are getting their last mouthfuls. The other male is actually just resting off to the right, but we can't see him, and so they're going to get their last bits of meat off the carcass. And then, thank you for the congratulations on my vehicle maneuvering. It was quite hard work. Broke out in a bit of a sweat. And so the brother is just lying off to the side, and he, I'm sure, will also have his last few mouthfuls, and then they're going to probably move to a more open area. But yeah, for now, they're making the most of what's left of this carcass. So Minamu is asking, why do cheetah claws not retract when they're chasing? So the cheetah's claws are quite different to most of the other cats in that they don't retract fully. They do come slightly more out, but they don't fully retract into the paw. So their claws are always slightly exposed from the rest of the paw, and that is because their claws act as running spikes. So just like an athlete will put spikes on when they're going to run on an athletics track, the cheetah, for their speed, they need these enormous claws, and they need them to be out and ready at all times. There goes the brother now, heading towards the kill. And so the reason why their claws don't retract while they're chasing is because they need their claws to be out so that they can grip as they're running after their prey. And it makes their claws quite blunt, so as they walk, their claws are always slightly exposed from the rest of their paw, and so they rub against rocks and the ground and the sand as the cheetah walks, and so their claws are not that sharp. But what cheetah do have, which enables them to make the final or deliver the final blow when they are hunting in bringing down their prey, they've got a dew claw which is slightly higher up on their leg than their paw, so maybe about 10 centimeters or between 5 and 10 centimeters up on their leg, and they will use that dew claw to swipe at their prey from behind. Whereas things like lions and leopards, they've got very sharp claws and they're big and powerful claws, and they will grab with those big paws and pull down their prey cheetah have a different approach. They don't have the power or the weight to bring something down in that manner. So they've got to rely on ankle tapping, basically, their prey. So they use that dew claw and swipe at the heels of their prey, hoping that dew claw hooks almost into the prey's Achilles or the back of their leg somewhere, one of the tendons on the back of the antelope's leg, and that will usually cause the antelope to lose its footing and fall over and tumble. And as it's tumbling, the cheetah will catch up to it, and as soon as it can, it will go for the throat to deliver that killing bite. Now, you might wonder how the cheetah got in there, but what they would have done is caught this Ngala out in a more open area, and then they've dragged it into the bushes where they're feeding on it now, and that was just to try to conceal it a little bit from the vultures that might circle above.
Okay guys, so we just arrived back at the den site. You can see the little ones are in exactly the same spot as where they were earlier, maybe just a little tucked in more. Just there at the back you can see those little white balls of fluff. And we stopped specifically on this side because Mom will be coming from the other side if she does choose to do so while we are out here, while we are on drive. We were hoping that she's going to come through. She is quite some distance away, so it might take her a little while to get here, but hopefully we'll get that proper reunification of these 3 little babies with their mom. It would be great. I think they're going to be quite hungry after a whole day of not having mom around. So yeah, that big tree that you can see in the center of your screen now, she should be coming from the other side of that. So hopefully soon, even though she was quite some distance away, if she wants to walk, she'll be here she could be here next 5 minutes, but it's up to her.
Well, our snoozy foursome here have not moved much, but they are starting to lift their heads up and scratch and itch, and I do think very soon we might get some movement. I'd really like to see them all stand up. This morning it was difficult to get good views of them, I'm afraid. It would be great to get a sort of identity profile for each of them. And the tallest one's the outlier. Apparently the tallest one, when he stands up, is the one that comes from the Nharo pride. The other ones come from the Mbiri pride. So there's a high possibility that the 3 that come from the same pride are related.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for the ingwe. I'm leaving Tuesday.
Sorry. Andy, good question. And really, we're not in any danger. Lions like this are especially habituated to vehicles, and we positioned ourselves where we approached really, really slowly, didn't give them a fright. We've given them plenty of space, and really there's a lot of opinions on how predators view the vehicles. There's a very prevalent one going around where the predator looks at the vehicle as a moving thing that's not a threat. It's not an animal, it's just something that's part of their environment. It's been there since they were born. They actually don't know the terrain. They don't know the landscape without vehicles. It's just this noisy, smelly thing that appears alongside them every so often. There's also a theory that some of the predators will just blanket out and not even see your vehicle. They're so accustomed to it that it doesn't even form part of their cognitive thinking. However, through my experience here, through lions, leopards, even cheetah in the Masai Mara, and hyenas and wild dogs, all your top predators that we get here, they are all able to look me directly in the eye. So when they look at the vehicle, they're able to find my eyes and stare me down. Tandy does it regularly. Hosanna did it all the time. Mohawk does it. Blondie does it. The hyenas do it. All the hyenas look at me in the eye. So what that tells me is that they are aware. Oh, how sweet is that? Oh, I think he's dreaming of spooning somebody. Those are big paws. So yes, what that tells me is that they're aware of a presence on the vehicle. Then if I was to jump off the vehicle right now, and I always say this, I'm not going to do that, everyone, I will become a threat. I become something entirely different. I'm not this thing on a vehicle. I become a bipedal man. I become a primate. I become human. And I would become a threat. And the lions probably would run because it's daytime. At nighttime, they may try and charge me. But when I'm part of the vehicle, I firmly believe that they see the entirety of the vehicle as a non-threatening thing, but they are able to identify that there's a living presence on it. Definitely. Well, that's my opinion. Anyway, these sleepyheads are starting to wake up now. Hopefully the next time you're with us, they'll be standing up.
I totally agree with Lauren. I think lions can notice things on the vehicle, so do many animals, including these buffalo that we've found here coming down to Ndlovu Dam. A lot of them looking towards us at the moment, so they definitely know that we're around. Oh, and there's Tungsten. There's our old mate. Watch his tongue. See how the water drips out of his mouth, and watch his tongue will just slowly seep out of his mouth. That's very interesting. I really wonder what happened to this buffalo in his past. Did he eat something not so good? Did he get his tongue caught on a thorn? What happened to him? Did the cat catch his tongue? Sometimes. I cracked myself up. So this buffalo is just anyway walking down to the water to have a bit of a drink, and so are the rest of his buddies, which are nearby as well. There's a small group of bachelors who always seem to come down to the waterhole at this time of the evening. Maybe the rest of the herd will come and join them as well, which would be great. And then maybe that little leopard cub we had here a couple nights, or yesterday night, will pop down and give us a surprise also. We heard some alarm calls earlier. Who knows what the evening has in store for us? It's beautiful though, isn't it? These buffaloes are. I think, leopards are my favorite animals, but I think in terms of, I'm always going for the underdog. And buffaloes are always the underdog when it comes to the big five. No one ever says, yeah, we want to see buffalo. I think they're amazing. Look how powerful they are, strong and inquisitive. Just wondering what that rock is. Nicholas, it depends on the area, I suppose. If they've got good food and not as many predators, probably a bit longer. But I'd say somewhere between 15 and 20 years is about as old as a buffalo is going to get. Maybe 15, in areas where there's higher predator numbers, or like here at Pride Lands, where, as you can see, this part of southern Africa gets very dry in the winter and food is a bit of a problem. But certainly 15 years is about a good age, maybe up to 20, not much older. It also depends on which books you read. I've never really followed a buffalo, one single buffalo, its whole life to see how old it gets. But these buffaloes have all seen a lot of action in their time. You can see lots of scratches, still very strong and muscular, but certainly enjoying a bit of a retirement. This one's about to have a mud bath. Oh, that looks so good. Got to scratch the chin every now and again. It's going to use its horns to dig up some of that mud, to loosen it up, and then probably just have a bit of a lie down.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda. We've managed to get quite a nice view of the cheetah feeding now. Both of them are feeding. Let's just watch how they feed. So watch that male, how he takes a mouthful. Once he's got a mouthful of meat, he's probably not going to do it now. As usual. So what he was doing, you might have seen before I mentioned that, he had the side of his mouth, he had the chunk of meat slightly to the side of his mouth, and what he was using was the carnassial shears at the back of his mouth to cut off. Here we go. So he takes a mouthful of meat, and then he'll use the teeth at the back of his mouth, which are called the carnassial shears, and they basically fit onto one another like a pair of scissors. And he'll take a mouthful of meat like that, and then turn his face to the side, and using his tongue, which has those backwards facing hooks, he'll use his tongue to move the piece of meat down towards his throat, and as the piece of meat moves, those slicing teeth or scissor-like teeth will cut off that chunk of meat, and then he'll swallow the entire piece of meat. And you'll see it as he bites, and then he might shake his head, and it's just trying to free up a chunk of meat that he can fit into his mouth, and then apply that same cutting process. And as the meat, the remaining meat gets less and less, there is a little bit of growling every now and then. So we're just going to sit here and watch what they do.
Jumbo! Here we are. 2 giraffes. They're not dancing, but it's a male trying to mate with a female. He's really pushing for it, but she's not taking yes for an answer. She needs words. She needs lots of good things for her. That is a very mature male. As you can see, he's been through quite a lot. Yeah, you can tell the male has been through a lot. You can tell the horns, they've worn out, so he's a fully grown male, and this is the kind of male all females want. And also in the hierarchy, he's got better chances of mating with the female. Remember, females come into season mostly after the rainy season, when there is abundance of food and there is no stress to find food. When I say food, I mean lots of brush. Yeah, so right now, that's what that's why females are coming into season. I have seen about 3 females this week that have come into season. Sometimes it will take very long for the female. It will take a very long time for the female to accept, but once she's ready, they'll mate continuously for even up to 3 days. So I don't know if she's ready yet or not, but the female is really pushing for it. Yeah, the weather is beautiful. You can hear the frogs, they're going. It's a good time of day. Yeah, look at the view back there. Yeah, I don't know how much longer, he's gonna, wait, but he's really pushing for it. Yeah, he needs to do better. I don't know what, in giraffe, what they do for the ladies to accept. This time of the year is when, they're actually quite vulnerable, because they spend a lot of time concentrating on mating. So, they never take note of what's going on around them. They can walk like this continuously. The male always try to go in front and stop the female, like you've seen, trying to tell her, where are you going? It's time. Yeah, see how much bigger he is from the female, and I think that's why it doesn't last very long. The mounting, it's a matter of seconds, because I think he's too heavy. If he stayed too long on the back of the female might collapse. Now he's a fully grown male, very, very big, as you can see. Female seems to be very relaxed. She's actually chewing her cud, while the male is like, yeah. Well, I'm staying here with my giraffe. Yeah, let's have a look at what else is happening somewhere else.
Okay, guys, we've moved just a tiny bit forward from when we were able to see the cubs there in the background, just so that we don't sit behind the tree and not see Mom coming. No visual on her yet, but we are going to be patient and see if she doesn't come in. So the reason for us moving just a little forward is to have that open view that you can see right now for when she does come in. The barking geckos are starting to form a choir here, which is great. It's quite early for them to start vocalizing, and it's quite a good sign. We can see a little bit of haziness developing on the horizon, so that's always a good indication when you hear the barking geckos and when you see that haziness in the distance. Always a good sign of moisture starting to move into the area.
So not standing up as I hoped, but definitely awake, alert and grooming themselves, grooming one another, yawning. Everybody's yawning. Right on cue. Oh, okay. Got some flexible yoga moves going on here. This boy looks very young. I remember when the Avoca males used to look like this. And all of us... and all of a sudden, they just went through a boom, a big boom in their growth and the growth of their mane as well. There's something very tender about the bonds that coalition mates have. And although male lions do have a really bad reputation, especially when it comes to infanticide and when it comes to level of aggression. Ooh, that looks good, doesn't it? Hello. There's lots of people wanting to say hi to you. Oh, one is up. Now the youngest one is up. All I can see is he's young. He almost looks like a female. It's not, of course. Got a hairy chin and hairy cheeks. But out of all of them, I wonder if this is the Nharu male. I don't know. I really don't know at this stage. But he definitely looks a little bit younger than the other three. Oh, look at these two boys. BFFs. And out of all the predators, I think, wild dogs in a pack and lions in a pride stroke coalition have something very special. And you're all saying, oh, and it is special. They've got a very, oh dear. The youngsters decided to, do the toilet. This is not going to be very pleasant for Theo and I. But that's okay. And normally when one male goes, they're all going to go. Yeah, they're getting mobile now. have the pink nose. Okay, they're all going to walk behind the car. Wow, it's great to see them stand up. Yeah, this is... Oh dear. My goodness. Theo. He's already got his buff covering his face. My goodness, what a welcome, boys. That is not pleasant at all. I wonder where they're going to go. I'm really excited to know which direction they're going to go, north, south, east and west. So while I endure this pong, you're going to go off to somewhere far less smelly.
Sorry.
Beautiful. So we've got the beautiful leopard, and sorry, looks like she just got up and then she was about to chase, and let's keep up with her. I don't know whether she's probably seen something in front of her there. We're not sure whether it was a grey duiker but she, you know, as you can see, she's going through these bushes and sniffing around. Is that probably she had a maybe scent of, you know, antelope that could be around here, as they're very good in that, and they're very good on smelling and keeping on with the tracks of what it is. So we're gonna go back to that road there. Hopefully we get another visual. That was not actually strong chase. She's probably on the road there for us. Just gonna try and get around here. It's a lot of holes and everything, so. But yeah, we're not stuck yet. Just gonna back to the road, get our leopard back on track. It's a car in front of us. We're just gonna avoid them and go around. Hopefully we get to see her. Very nice, you know. She's there on the road. I'm just gonna try and reposition. We got a very clear look of her. Whatever it was, looks like she kind of like given up now. So probably lost maybe a sight of what it was. So she's just right here, coming slowly towards us. Look at that, she's there. We got her again. See how indeed it's such a beautiful cat. Especially when you see them on their move. You know how special it is. So you can tell how she probably had something on her attention that bring her into that kind of behavior, running around in this wood, sniffing around, and she's checking, probably hunting for whether she's seen probably antelope, but you can tell she's up into something. She's gonna come right close to us. Look at her eye, hey? Beautiful eyes, cat. Tswalu, so gorgeous. So now she's trying to listen, but she might actually make her own decision whether she'll go to the Galago pen or she will continue to do her own things, which is the main thing is actually hunting. That's a main thing for her, because then it means she will have a dinner. Whatever she's hunting here, she won't lay down. I saw a drongo fly up in the air there. She don't want to be yelled by birds because she probably don't need that in this kind of a time she ate right now. Yawn. No, it's not a proper yawn, but she's almost about to yawn. A lot of time, birds they'll annoy her because they want her to get away. Yes, she can actually eat any type of birds out here. But once she realized she'd been spotted by birds, she will raise the tail to tell the birds, no, I'm not hunting you. Meanwhile, maybe she was hunting them. We're going to wait here until see.
No, I can see the second hunt. Live.
Right, good evening, our viewers. It's once again coming almost to the end of our show at this special evening. And right here we've got an elephant. Elephants spend the rest of the day feeding, and up to now they still haven't had their fill, and they continue, and probably over the night they'll be still feeding. On our left is a small pond. Very interestingly, there are 4 hippos in here, and actually a while ago the hippo to the right was far away from the rest, and kind of got somehow uneasy or unhappy with something, and he started performing some sort of a backstroke swimming, and then started heading all upstream to see the rest. And hippos are nocturnal creatures. Oh, listen to that. Wow, that's an amazing sound. And from the background you can as well hear. Wow, listen to the bullfrogs calling as well from the background. This is quite a very interesting way to probably end the day. Hippos are pure grazers, but during the day they spend time in a pool of water or in a river. It is about time for them to get out of this pool and roam in the grassland, spending the entire night grazing. And they move quite a lot, sometimes up to 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers away from their source of water. Before the sun comes up, then you always see them coming or rushing back to their... Oh, that's the picture almost coming up, and then these hippos are really behaving like that kind of uneasy. We probably need to leave this place and just let them probably come out and start going out aggressive.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. We were just about to leave these cheetah as it is getting a little bit dark now, and because cheetah are not active at night, we usually leave them be just shortly after sunset. And as we were about to drive away, they got up, having finished the rest of that in Ngala, and they've moved to a beautiful little open clearing here, and just getting some rest, grooming themselves, but they are still on high alert. See how enormous their bellies are. It looks like they've swallowed a soccer ball each. And I was just saying, I'm not sure if you guys heard it earlier, but a male cheetah these guys have probably somewhere around 13 to 15 kilograms of meat in their belly. A large adult male up to about 17 kilograms, but yeah, these two, I think they'd probably have somewhere between 13 and 15 kilograms of meat in their tummies right now. Which is pretty impressive considering they're probably about 50 kilograms themselves. Everyone's saying that it looks like they've swallowed beach balls. I couldn't agree more. Something like a balloon that they swallowed and has swollen up inside of their tummies. And you see how short their breaths are now as well. It's because their lungs can't expand fully, but also it requires a lot of effort and energy for them to eat. Obviously they don't have hands, so they can't put their food in their mouth, and they can't breathe through their mouth when they're eating, obviously. And so it is quite a tiring exercise for the cats when they feed. But they are completely relaxed, just whipping their head around every now and then because of the wind. There is some wind rustling the leaves and the grass around us. And they haven't moved to an extremely open area. They're just on this little open clearing. And only about 50 meters away from that Ngala kill. So, yeah, we're going to not be with these cheetah any longer because it is getting dark. So this is... sorry about that, the call dropped. So we're going to leave them here and see if we can get any nocturnal animals on our way home.
Beautiful. So what we've seen with this Shidula doing, she ran right up in one of the mound. When she get there, she just pounced into the right on top of the mound. Then we thought maybe she was going to something there, but then it was nothing. So this is maybe how she do, when she hunt. She always believes there's something in this thicket, and how she approached the bushes. And it's amazing that it looks like she's seen something when she does that, but then no, this is how she's been actually learned from their mother how to hunt in this type of bush, especially with this kind of a still light out here. But now she's leading back east again, so she changed direction back east where she was always heading. I'm gonna stick with her. I wanna keep the sighting going, and hopefully she show up in one. She's going close to actually WildEarth area, so looks like we're gonna have her around us. And then if is that the case, you drop into that drainage line, we're gonna drive around to the other side, see if she come out for us.
The boys are up. They're alert. Now they're on Philemon's cut line, and they're all looking in the same direction. You see that? They haven't made a sound. They've not vocalized. I didn't catch that name, sorry, girls. I don't think they'll vocalize at this stage. I really don't. They've got to keep a low profile. And they've got to stay quiet until they figure out what they want to do. Now, they're about to walk into the block where the hyena den is, and I don't want anyone to panic. It's a really prominent game path in this area, and lots of predators use it. The cubs will run straight into the den. They'll be absolutely protected. If they're out, of course. I checked earlier and no one was present. Let's just reposition. I'm not going to block the lion's view. That's the one thing you should not do. But I am just going to go and see if we can get a little bit closer to them. They're looking towards quarantine. Shidulu's up there as well. Everyone's in very close proximity. And the Pungwe pack of dogs have just arrived back on Djuma. There we go. Get a view of some of them from here. I think they're going to head to Treehouse Dam for a drink. But something keeps catching their attention. It never fails to amaze me how they see the landscape. I'm here, Theo. Oh, we're we're scraping our claws and having a good stretch on this marula. Now, I think that's more of a feel-good stretch than a territorial scraping. And we're all going to do it. Stretch out the spines. They've been sleeping all day on the hard ground. Yeah, they're heading towards that path at the hyena den. But what I was going to say, Theo's here, I'm here, and we perceive the landscape in front of us in one way, and these animals next to us will see it in a completely different way. They'll hear it differently, they'll smell it differently, they'll see it differently. Now, we might not see these boys again, but we might. They're heading in a southerly direction. But wouldn't it be great if they make a kill? Oh, bless you. If they make a kill, then they'll be around for the next little while. We're going to have to keep tabs on the Nkuhumas and the Avokas. Nana, I have not seen any markings, any callings. They did, of course, just stretch there, but I don't think it was scraping. Scraping is a territorial marking, but I think that was more of just having a good old stretch. They've been completely silent, not made a sound. I've seen no scent marking, no urine spraying. They, of course, did the toilet, but that's natural. That wasn't a case of scent marking. Okay, we'll stick with this one boy who's left behind now, but they are heading to that game path right next to the hyena den. They're going to go straight to Treehouse Dam. It's been a really hot day today, one of the hottest since I've been back in the Lowveld, and I think they're going to go straight for water. I wonder where we'll find them in the morning. We've got Shadulu here, we've got new boys in town, we've got the dogs. I just have to update on the radio because I'm the only station here. I was busy. Hello. They're a lot more relaxed than they were this morning. A lot more relaxed. I think they were maybe just a bit jumpy this morning for other reasons. But they're not skittish at all. I think it's safe to say they're hungry, though. We are nearing the end of the show, but I may, of course, just check. Oh, the last one's up. No limps. Skinny looking, very skinny. Definitely needs a good meal. I can just watch them walk towards that game path. I checked about an hour and a half ago, possibly longer, and there was no hyenas at the den. But as many of you know, that may change. It can always change. They'll be able to hear the lions coming now. Oh, many of you are saying it's been a fantastic drive. It has. Andrew found Tswalu. We've got these 4 unknown boys that we need to learn more about and try and piece together the puzzle that is lion territories. There was always going to be a shift. It was always going to happen. But when that shift was going to come, nobody knew. And it looks like it's already happened. I really hope they're around tomorrow. But they are heading south. Or at least that's their direction at the current moment. So as always, everyone, it's such a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you for all your wonderful questions and comments. And please do join us tomorrow. We'll be back out in the morning and we want you all with us. Until then, have a great night.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses.